Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the 30-day wedding photography crash course series. I'm Josiah Blizzard, and we're talking about off-camera flash and a little bit of on-camera flash at wedding receptions today. And there's a million different ways to do this and to light receptions, but this is just the one way that we shot this particular reception. Sometimes we'll use solely off-camera flash. This time we decided to use a mix of both. So stay tuned, and we'll show you one of our go-to flash setups.
Do it quick, I'm hungry.
Steph's hungry. My wife's hungry. My wife has hunger issues. She gets really angry and frustrated. Okay, she doesn't get angry. She just gets a little bit annoyed. So you'll know when she's hungry. All right, so I'm going to talk about off-camera flash a little bit and how we shoot receptions, and it always changes because of the layout, the plan, what is happening during the reception, and mainly the room size. So as you can see, if Steph pans his camera around, you can see there's low ceilings, a lot of open space, but mainly the low ceilings is what is the factor here. So instead of putting all of our flashes off camera, we're gonna do one on camera flash and one off camera flash. So I'm gonna set that up real quick and show you some behind the scenes during the reception. All right, so for flashes, we're using the Yongnuo series. I'm sure you can use the Godox or the Canon or whatever you're using. We use the Yongnuo just because they're cheap. They're like $70, and if somebody knocks my flash over, it's not the end of the world. So this guy's on there, and what's nice is that they have a built-in like radio trigger function, so we can have the Yongnuos that go on top of our camera trigger these guys. No extra transceivers, remotes, anything like that needed. So it's all built into the flash.
And please join me with a warm welcome on this warm evening for Mr. and Mrs. Wolf. One more time, everybody, big cheer for the Wolves. All right, well, our bride and groom are ready to dance their first dance together as husband and wife. They've chosen a song everybody loves from Queen. This is called You're My Best Friend, and as we begin, one more time, a nice hand for Mr. and Mrs. Wolf.
All right, so let me try and take you through a little bit of our process, what we're thinking. I am over on the window side of this reception space because I really didn't want to compete with the window light as my backlight. It would have been blown out. Our flashes are not going to be powerful enough to stop that sunlight from coming through. So I decided to work with the sunlight and have that as part of my key light. And really, we just move around a lot. Steph is on the 24-70, and I'm on a 70-200, so she's able to grab some great wide shots. I'm able to get some really tight close-ups and intimate shots, and we just move around as much as we can. We each have a flash on camera with a Magmod mag sphere on top to diffuse the light, and we're pointing that at the ceiling to bounce the flash. And you can see we have an off-camera flash up there on the left. You can see it in a second. It should flash. There you go. And so that is giving us some rim lights, some hair lights, like you're seeing right here. It just allows them to glow and separates them from the background a little bit while we're shooting, making for a much more dynamic looking image. The DJ's calling everybody onto the dance floor, and as I'm on a 70-200, I know that I am not in a good position over where I was, so I move back to our bag, our main area, and just start trying to capture some candid moments and things of that nature. There's really no rhyme or reason to shooting dancing. It's really just spray and pray that you get a good image. That's really all you can do. There is some technique to it, but we try to look for key members like bridal party or family members, and that's who we target first to make sure we're getting some great candids and images of the important people at this wedding, and then we just go crazy and try and shoot as many different people as possible. Coming to the toast, you can see first off, right off the bat, that window is super bright. They are heavily backlit, and there is no avoiding that if you're shooting directly head on, and I'll show you an image from that later on. But the way to combat that is to come from the side and use it as part of your main light source, as part of your key light. We moved, you can see in, I'll point it out here, there's a flash behind her. It's right to your left of screen. And That's acting as a fill light or as a hair light to separate them from the background again a little bit. We go to both sides. We want to make sure we're getting a close-up of the bride and groom and a close-up of the person giving the toast. And that's what that photo looks like head on. It just doesn't look good. So go from the sides if you're trying to combat some bright windows and backlight, and it should cut down on the glare. And at the slow dance sections of the receptions, we just go around. We try and get as many couples as possible on our camera, good images. We want to make sure that if they were to see our photos, that they have a photo in there with their significant other, with their friends, with their family, whoever it is, and that they are more likely to share to Facebook or Instagram, and in turn are possibly more likely to book us later on for a session or for their own wedding, something like that. So that's kind of our plan. We just try and shoot as much as possible. When it comes to the actual dancing part and it gets dark, it gets much harder to focus. So it's really a guessing game, and you don't know if you got a good image or not. So just keep shooting until you get some good stuff and you feel happy with what you have. So that's pretty much reception flash. It's really not a lot once you get the hang of it, but it does take some practice. We use the Yongnuo flashes, and they only shoot in manual mode, so you have to learn a little bit about how to operate your flash. But other than that, and it's a piece of cake once you get going. We don't do anything complex, and we don't do anything crazy. It's just like simple fill light, hair light, and that's pretty much the gist of it. So I'm not an off-camera flash expert by any means, so I hope this was a little bit helpful. When in doubt, put a flash on your camera, bounce it off of the closest subject. If you have low ceilings, definitely put it on camera and bounce off the ceiling, and then put one flash off camera and use it as a hair light. Point it towards your camera and make sure that it's lighting up the back of the people's heads, your subjects' heads, and you'll have a pretty decent shot. That's it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening, for watching. I hope you learned something new. Maybe I'll go over off-camera flash way more in depth in a later on video on this channel. So subscribe if you haven't already, and please share this content with a friend who might find this valuable. And I will see you guys tomorrow for the next video.